Welcome to What It Means to Be Human. I'm your host, Dan Zesterstrom, and today we are talking about this.
Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
What? So, Trump has referenced UFOs. He talked about it. You might hear some thunder in the background. There's a big thunderstorm happening here. Great ambience, some rain on the roof and stuff. But yeah, we're going to be looking at Trump. We're going to be looking at what he said, why he said it, what he actually means. Some paperwork that shows what he might actually be up to, and many, many, many other things. So yeah, thank you for everyone tuning in for the live. And if you found us from the Michael Ian Black interview, or you found us on Richard Hatham's Paranormal Bookshelf, which I highly recommend, thank you for jumping over and continuing to watch with us. So since we last saw you, we had an episode with Michael Ian Black, which was amazing. Did gangbusters. Michael's so thoughtful. Would love to have him back in the future. And what he said in the episode about 2027 and the coming date and him being told this in signal groups, that kind of made waves in the UFO community. So awesome to get that out. We also had an interview with Michael Oeming, an incredible, basically Oscar winning artist in the comic book world. And yeah, we talked about UFOs around the world and through the ages. We discovered the first ufologists, heard about new cases from China and Russia, as well as covering classics. And if you watch that or listen to that anywhere but YouTube, I recommend jumping over to YouTube and watching it, because we put a little extra sprinkle of visuals and Michael's work throughout as he's telling the stories, and it comes off really, really cool. And then, Roz, we had an amazing episode with you, sharing your shared death experience with your father, with your stepdad.
Yeah.
How are you feeling after sharing that?
Oh, that was wild, actually. Yeah, it was nice to share it. I felt like, I've told that story to a few friends, but it was nice to share it with an audience that I thought would really appreciate it. I think that our audience is interested in those types of topics and consciousness and, where we all go, where does it all go? Spirituality, maybe. So I thought that, our audience would maybe enjoy it. So yeah, it was a little scary. I'm not going to lie, to share something that personal. And it was actually, Dan, it was the first time I had told that story in such a public way. So for me to actually even express it and go through it with you was really kind of cathartic too. It was nice to get it off my chest a little bit. So yeah, so I really enjoyed it. Yeah, a little healing
and sharing.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really cool. Well, a lot of people resonated with that one, and they loved how willing to be just raw and unmasked you were, and I commend you on that too, Roz. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
And I highly recommend everyone go check that out if you haven't. Okay, so let's jump into it.
Okay,
we
sounds
have
good.
A UFO or UFno. So this was taken in June 2006 in South Wales. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to let you watch it.
Whoa.
You can talk through it if you want.
Okay, that's wild.
Tell people what you're seeing if they're listening to audio
that's
only.
It looks like a spinning orb, but almost like an eye. It seems like there's almost like an iris in the center. And it's like a very grainy black and white video. You can see the lines in the screen. It looks like somebody's recording a screen, actually, because I think you're getting some flickering there from the screen. And it's obviously some kind of gun camera because it's switching back and forth between different views. So when we first started, we're close up on the object. It looks like maybe there's the ground underneath, and then the camera keeps pushing in. So maybe it's like a FLIR or something where we're seeing...
It is a FLIR. Well done, Roz.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is a FLIR camera. It's in black hot mode. We're seeing an object kind of far away from... It's a helicopter that it's recorded from.
Wow.
So these are FLIR cameras on a helicopter.
Wow.
And yeah, this full video, so the clip I'm showing now is 1 minute. It's going to come to an end soon. But the full video is 8 minutes long. I didn't want to play all 8 minutes. You can just search 8 minute St. Athan
that's cool.
UFO, and it will come up. You can watch the whole thing. But I'll tell you more about it later.
Okay. But it's so cool. It's so
a good
cool.
one, right?
Yeah, it's a really good one. Yeah.
And that one would have gone right over my house where I was living at the time. I did not see it. So
Really?
Buoy.
Okay.
Yeah. They didn't signal me to come out and look at them. I must have been in the wrong density.
I'm going to say it is UFO just out of the gate. That's my guess.
Interesting.
Putting
Okay.
it out there. Okay?
Cool. Nice.
If I was a betting woman, I'd slide my chips across the table and say UFO.
Okay, so let's jump into it. What the hell is going on with Trump and UFOs? So we're going to start with where it began, which was with Barack Obama's comment on Brian Cohen's podcast.
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
Oh man, I miss Obama so much.
He's so charismatic, isn't he? But
He
that kind of set the world on fire, that comment, because people took it as him just saying aliens are real. And that little sip he takes from the cup. In fact, I'm going to play it again and just go here.
The real enormous conspiracy. And
watch the
they
sip.
hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted?
I've seen people say that sip for them is him just staring at the other guy and being like, listen to what I'm saying, dude. Like, I don't know anything and they're not real unless they're hiding it from. So that's how people took it. And yeah, that got a bit crazy. And it's not actually the first time he's spoken about this either. He's spoken a whole bunch about it. So I'm just going to show you a clip. This is from May 2021 on the James Corden show.
Okay.
Well, when it comes to aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you on air.
But you'll tell us off air? Great.
But what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory. They did not have an easily explainable pattern. And so, I think that people still take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what that is.
Wow.
What a clip, right?
Wow.
So yeah, he made that comment too. That's really provocative. I love that comment. That's the one I showed to my mom and she's like, wait, what? Like he's saying there are things that we don't know what they are? And he's not joking? What? The rain's getting crazy here now. I don't know if you can hear it.
I can.
But yeah, that's an amazing comment. And James Corden's weird joke aside there, just stating the obvious for everyone. Obama really intrigued with that comment. But let's have a look at what he said on Colbert.
There are times where prying information out of the bowels of an agency can be challenging.
UFOs? Any UFOs? Did you ask about that?
Certainly asked about it.
And?
Can't tell you.
Sorry. Okay. All right, I'll take that as a yes. If there were none, you'd say there was none, right? You just played your hand. I thought you were a poker player. You just won 100%. Showed your river card.
So good.
Feel free to think that.
I do.
Feel free to think that.
So much. That makes me happy to think that you want to tell me about
Can
UFOs.
I say it used to be that UFOs was what is it? Roswell was the biggest conspiracy, and now that seems so tame. Right?
Right.
The idea that the government might have an alien spaceship. That's
now the biggest conspiracy is people in Michigan vote. Let's take another quick break. We'll be right back with more President Barack Obama.
He's so great. Those two, man. What a power couple. Couple.
I mean, that was great. I love the dynamic there. Obviously, that was during COVID, so they were sat really far apart. One of them didn't smell, that wasn't going on. But yeah, really provocative comments as well. So we're seeing this history of Obama making really provocative comments on this subject. And the most recent one is his aliens are real, but I've never seen them, which is an interesting statement, right? If you're a lawyer, you're listening to that statement and going, so could someone have told him, have briefed him, hey, these are real, we don't know what they are, we don't know where they are. They're just in a basement somewhere. We're working on it. We'll tell you when we've got something. And Obama goes, okay, I'm a busy guy. You carry on with that. So he knows they're real, but he's never seen them. That qualifies. So Obama followed up those comments by trying to kind of explain what he did mean. And he posted this to Instagram. He wrote, I was trying to stick with the spirit of the speed round. But since it's gotten attention, let me clarify. Statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are good that there's life out there. But the distances between solar systems are so great that the chances we've been visited by aliens is low. And I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us. Really?
Love that. Really! Exclamation mark. I just love his tone. Obama's so great. You know, you just can never tell, right? what he's actually saying. Yes.
He's playing the line. And we'll go into it a little bit now because this isn't as straightforward as a yes or no. This has been going on since like 2015. It involves Tom DeLonge, Neil McCasland, Hillary Clinton, so many people. But we're just talking the modern thing. Yep. After Obama posted that, Dylan Borland, the whistleblower who testified in the recent hearing, posted, Obama's a great speaker. He would have prefaced the statement with, statistically on how large the universe is, the odds are astronomical, we are not alone, instead of saying what he said. Then he goes on, still tired of the extraterrestrial line. Also, really appreciate the underground facility statement. He knows about DUMBs, which are underground military basements. And to go out of your way to bring up, not at Area 51 DUMB, while Clapper was there with you. Come on, man. I get it. I really do. I wish he stuck to his guns. So Dylan, the guy on the inside, thinks that he said enough in that, that, it's something really interesting that we should pay attention to. Yeah. And it did not stop there. So John Greenwald over at the Black Vault, he does FOIA requests for documents on UFOs, ATIP, OSAP, UAP, everything. And he requested all of the ATIP files and all the OSAP files. And he posted upon getting the request from the National Archives, the letter from the National Archives back. He wrote, jackpot, the Obama Presidential Library just informed me they have approximately 3,440 pages and 26,271 electronic files that pertain to my request for ATIP, UFO, UAP, and OSAP information. If true, I'm absolutely floored the Obama Library has that. And then here's the letter. So it just basically explains what John has just said there, saying, yes, there are a whole bunch of files in Obama's presidential library pertaining to UFOs that have never been released. So Obama knows something.
Wow.
He's the guy facilitating this. It changes it, right?
Oh, big time. I mean, also, wasn't Obama doing a film on Barney and Betty Hill? Like, wasn't his production company optioning that or something?
Bought a script from, and I forget what it's called now, but it's basically like the year's top 10 best scripts that didn't get optioned. The Blacklist. And it was on the Blacklist.
Right.
And it's a script called White Mountains.
White Mountains,
and I can send it to you if you want to read. It's really good. It's a really quick read.
I would love to read that, yes.
It's more interesting to me in how it changes Betty and Barney Hill's story. So the UFO they saw becomes a tic-tac. What happens in terms of their lives becomes Barney being given information that he can't access, but he knows it will come to him at the right time. And the story it kind of weaves is really interesting. And it also puts a lot in of their civil rights work, because famously they were an interracial couple at a time where that would have been frowned upon. And so it includes a lot of that in there too. I really loved it. I think it would make a great movie. But again, you're right. Betty and Barney Hill movie. Yeah. All those like 26,000 plus records in his library, all these comments, it's painting a picture. Even if this didn't go further, we are eyebrow raised. What the hell does Obama know?
Well, and when he said that, I mean, Dale and I actually went over that, like what he said with a fine-tooth comb, because I was like, it's so loaded, his statement there, that I'm like picking it apart to go, what was the classified information that Trump said he spilled, right?
Right.
Because when
Trump technically spilled it too when he said that, right?
And so when he said that, I was like, okay, what is he talking about that was classified that Obama said? And I thought, he could have been referencing the fact that Obama said that there was no underground base at Area 51, right? As opposed to like aliens, right? Like,
And just a quick aside, Obama was the president that declassified Area 51 when he spoke about it. When a president does that, it's declassified.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
again, he's pushing that line, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's pushing that line.
I mean, that's what I felt hearing it. I was really, because what he says is so loaded. Everything he says, you have to look at the statement and really pull it apart and go like, what exactly did he mean? So
Right.
yeah. And then Trump's statement just compounded it, because now you're like, oh my gosh, right? What does this actually mean?
Exactly.
Wild.
But we've got to keep our scruples about us, right? We can't just get excited about this and like Trump's going to disclose and everything like that.
Yes.
Slow and steady.
Yes.
Hold it lightly. Take it seriously. So let's go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
This is an article from L'Espresso. It's an Italian publication. This was in July 2025. And here it basically explains that there's a rumor that Trump wants to bring all of these secure access programs under the purview of the White House instead of them being in the DoD.
Okay.
That includes the UFO stuff. They call it Project Preserve Destiny. So this was rumored. And then a year later, or almost a year later, like half a year, I guess, this happens. And so we need to remember this could be a play by Trump to do something for his administration or to distract or something like that. So with that said, let's jump into Trump's side of things and see what Trump said on Air Force One.
Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, the president can declassify anything that he wants to, so if you want to make an announcement.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
I kind of love that clip. I got to say, like, I'm not the hugest Trump fan, but I love his attitude in that moment, right? I'm just like, he's just playing everybody a little bit, right? And having fun.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the worry, because this is the week that the Epstein files are starting to come out and he needs distractions. And so people are like, is this a distraction from Iran? Is it a distraction from Epstein? And I'm just sat here, like that bit in The Matrix where Switch is like, not like this when she's dying. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I want UFO disclosure, but not like this. Not because of a worldwide cabal of elite, rich pedophiles.
You call it dirty disclosure, Dan. It's dirty disclosure.
I like that. We have control disclosure, catastrophic disclosure, and now dirty disclosure. That's good. That's good. And that needs to be on a t-shirt. So not long after that, we had a post from the White House, posted over on X and over also on Truth Social from Trump. Trump says, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena. He got that wrong. It's anomalous now. And unidentified flying objects, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. And then following that, we had a statement from Senator Gillibrand. Senator Gillibrand has been involved with the legislation passing over the last 5-6 years in Congress. What you see with Arrow, with INSOG, with the UEPTF, that was Gillibrand pushing for this. So she wrote, today, after President Trump announced that he is directing his administration to release files related to unidentified anomalous phenomena, U.S. Senator Kristen Gillibrand released the following statement. This is good news, and I'm encouraged to see the president lend his support to this effort. I have been pushing for years for increased disclosure and transparency around UAPs. My work to establish and strengthen the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, that's ARROW, has already brought about significant progress in improving interagency coordination, data collection, and engagement with the public. But there is still more to be done, and the American people's interest in UAPs only continues to grow. I urge the administration to follow through on this directive, and I will keep fighting to elevate this issue in Congress so that we can reduce the stigma around reporting and ensure UAP records are being properly disclosed and made public. Now, I love that, because even if it's a distraction, these officials are now trying to take it out of his hands I've heard there's legislation being written up and pushed through to kind of say, okay, you said we can do it. Let's go ahead and do it then. Let's get this into law. So anyone worried about this? Doesn't need to be worried about this so much. Trump is not going to distract. And really, we kind of need a little conversation about whether the distraction would even work. Because it's not working right now if it's the distraction. People have moved on, right? The news cycle is fast. The Kardashians' dinner plans, they all take over. We've had another war kickoff since then with Iran. More Epstein file stuff. Like, nothing is being distracted from with this. Not saying it's not a distraction, just saying it might not be working and they're trying. Certainly in that Air Force One clip, and I'm going to play this again for you, Roz. Okay. I want you to watch the press secretary on Trump's back right.
Caroline Leavitt?
Caroline Leavitt. The day before this, she was asked in the White House about this. And she said she had nothing. And then the next day, she's here with Trump on Air Force One. Hold on, let me play it. If you watch her,
he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
The president can declassify anything that he wants to. So if you want to make an announcement,
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
That, to me, looks like someone who's really pleased with herself.
Oh, gosh.
I think the question from the day before, she realized that it would be a distraction or a potential distraction and tried to play people.
She always looks like that, Dan. That's her. That's her resting face. Her resting face is resting pleased with myself face, as opposed to resting bee face. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then there's the question of how would it be? How much would it be distracting? Right? Because we don't know what they're going to disclose if they stand up on the podium and say, "We're going to tell you everything." If they tell us there's a derelict saucer, they've got no origin for it, it doesn't work, they don't know where it's from, they've had it for 50 years, and that's it, we're going to move on. It'll be in a museum so we can go and see it. It'll be in a news cycle for a week. Some specialist interest from scientists to want to kind of get in on it and study it, but that's about it. That's like really slow, like life goes on.
And I also want to just say, yes, go ahead. Where are you going?
The alternative to that is if someone stood on the podium and said, hey, we're surrounded by invisible species that are intelligent. They're all around us all the time. We have no privacy in our minds and lives. Secrecy is dead. And by us telling you, they'll reveal themselves and live amongst us openly. Oh, and by the way, they can take you from your bed in the middle of the night and there's nothing you can do about it. That would be a distraction. That would be panic stations, right?
Yes, but I also want to just say that I find the whole distraction argument like really demeaning. I mean, do they think the general public can't hold two things in their brains at the same time? Like this whole idea that like, oh, this flash in the pan over here is going to completely distract me from, you know what I mean? It's like I can drive by a car crash on the highway and not be distracted from driving. You know what I mean? I can watch it and go by, right? It's like, I don't need, you know what I mean?
That's actually a good analogy because you can, but around car crashes, traffic builds up, right? Because people like ruminate, they slow down to have a look. Yes. So it does kind of affect the conversation, but it doesn't distract completely, right? As long as you stay focused on your driving, then you're safe and life goes on.
Yeah, I inherently feel like the distraction concern is like, no, I don't agree with it. I think, I just think people can hold more than one thing at a time. And, and that's exactly what's happening. I mean, what I've seen in the community is that most people are like, great, but we're not going to look away from this. We still have an eye on that. I mean, we can multitask.
Walk and chew gum.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Like, don't underestimate us. We're not in grade 3. We can hold on to more topics than, just one thing at a time, right?
Yeah, I think that's a very good point to make. And outside of that as well, there are concerns too. Tim McMillan pointed out, he's a writer for The Debrief. He covers defense stuff all the time. And he basically addressed Donald Trump's post and said, this sounds like disclosure, right? And then he said, not exactly. There's a big legal difference between release and declassify. A sitting president has sweeping authority to declassify national security information outright, but Trump's statement doesn't explicitly do that. Instead, it signals a review and release effort, the kind that often means redactions, delays, and tightly managed disclosures. In other words, the vault isn't necessarily swinging open. It just may be getting audited. And Tim is a wise one. He correctly calling out Trump didn't say declassify. And I have to point out here that in 2023, legislation was passed that directed all of the agencies to send all of the UFO, UAP, ET related files to the National Archives to be hosted. The deadline for that was last year. They got an extension for a year. So that's what's happening right now, according to law passed in 2023 that Biden signed in, that Gillibrand got done, a bunch of other senators too, Rounds, Schumer, so many, I lose track, Rubio too. This was pre-age of disclosure when they were all kind of talking about it. And so this is already happening. Trump hasn't directed them to do anything new, but he's trying to take the credit for it. Dirty disclosure, Roz. Dirty disclosure.
Dirty disclosure.
So sorry, I'm expecting this. No, I love it. It's a song. We'll make it a full one. So I'm expecting business as usual, ambiguous, blurry videos. Arguments persist on whether they're prosaic. And really, this comes down to actions, not words. So far, Trump has given us words. I want to see actions before I give him any praise. Because, as I said, this law was passed in 2023. Trump
Talk is cheap.
Didn't do it.
Yeah.
Talk is very cheap. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So then we come to another part of this saga, Roz.
Okay.
Hillary Clinton recently went in to do a kind of deposition for the Epstein stuff. And she was asked about UFOs. Here's her talking about it at a presser.
It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories.
I hate that Pizzagate and UFOs were mixed together there. And the fact that we've since found out, Pizzagate was a thing. We've since found out that Epstein invented Pizzagate and pushed it through his media companies to distract from them talking about children as pizza.
Okay.
So really, really dirty disclosure, Roz. Luckily, that deposition video was released, and so we have it
for you. So I'm going to begin with some lighthearted, different questions, and you're welcome to ignore them, or if you want
That's
to.
That's Burleson.
While I have you here, I just have
to.
It
is,
ask.
yeah.
So when your husband was president, it was Lawrence Rockefeller had an effort to try to disclose UFOs, UAPs. When you were running for president, John Podesta publicly stated that you would disclose these files if given the chance, if you had been president. Are you pleased to see that these files may be disclosed finally?
I am pleased. As I say, I think they have to be carefully scrutinized so that no national security information is disclosed. But this is an issue of real importance to so many people, and I think whatever can be disclosed should be disclosed.
Was there a program that specifically that was referencing that you were aware of?
I was not. As you mentioned, John Podesta, who was one of my advisors, was deeply interested in the issue, and if I had been elected, I certainly would have listened to his advice.
Well, so this brings us to a whole other saga. This is why I was saying it goes back to 2015, potentially before. We're talking about John Podesta, who was going to be her chief of staff if she won the election. She did not. But she was also seen with the Rockefellers, with this massive, thick, classic UFO book that was very dry, very military encounters, So she had an interest, and she's kind of downplaying it there. And when the Wikileaks thing happened, we became privy to communications between Tom DeLonge, who everyone was calling crazy and saying that he was making stuff up, talking about to all these officials about UFOs, and John Podesta, who at that time he's on the campaign trail with Hillary. This is a big issue, and also General Neil McCasland, who we'll get to in just a second.
Okay.
So we know what Tom DeLonge does now. We've seen Unidentified, we've, seen Monsters of California, stuff like that. But let's just go back to watch his original trailer that was leaked in WikiLeaks from 2015. And this was before Lou Elizondo ever came into Tom's sphere, okay?
Okay.
So we have to remember this. Okay, Let's do it.
I'm loving this memory lane trip, I have to say. This is a lot of fun.
Early this year, I set out to do something pretty challenging. I wanted to shift perception on an extraordinary topic that had already over 70 years of research, opinion, and frankly, quite effective disinformation. I had the rare opportunity to present my ideas to an executive with the Department of Defense who worked in special access programs in an area called Watertown, also known as Area 51. That meeting led to multiple clandestine encounters across the United States, from desert airports to vacant buildings deep within Washington, D.C. From these exchanges, I learned three things. One, there are certain things that should never have been secret. Two, there are secrets that were justifiable at the time but should now be disclosed. And three, there are things that are so terrifying and unimaginable that certain interests believe that they should never, ever be made public. After this, you might even agree.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The Pentagon has special access programs deep in the bowels of the Pentagon bureaucracy. Little sunlight emanates from there.
We face a hostile ideology.
He who controls the heavens controls what happens on Earth.
Global in scope.
Space is exploration. It's the big questions in life. It's where the humans fit in this whole scheme.
Atheistic in character.
There's nothing inherent to democracy that precludes a continuous state of roboticized warfare.
Ruthless in purpose and insidious in method.
The United States military announced that it was actually going to open a space warfare center.
The danger it poses promises to be of indefinite duration.
Well, it's also an anthropocentric error to think billions of planets in our own galaxy that it's not full of life.
You have to start by knowing what's the right question.
I haven't had an experience of a UFO.
What's going on at this facility?
I haven't seen quantum particles. I know they exist because the evidence is there.
Nothing about alien life that has a need for competitive advantage, so it's immoral to classify.
The Pentagon has a $600 billion budget. It's hard to keep track of everything.
You get into conflicts with people's belief system.
The more autonomous drones kind of disturbing, and yet we keep going down that pathway.
The timelines for secrecy are also shrinking. There's no way to keep something secret forever.
It's time to take this seriously.
Do you believe people have a right to know?
I don't think the public could handle it. I really don't.
What do you think?
Just saying. I'm muted. I was muted. I said, I knew he was going to go to a guy in silhouette with his voice modulated at the end. I was like, and cue the guy in the dark.
Exactly.
No, it was good. I mean, I didn't see that trailer. I saw parts of it. Like I remember seeing pieces of him with the camera and stuff, but I don't recall that trailer at all.
It's hard to find. You know, I've posted it on our channel now, so it's there for people to watch if they want to send it to others and reference it and stuff. But but it's quite a different tone, right? Like that's Tom just going around kicking indoors and making an indie documentary that was meant to be for Vice. So it would have been, you know, really journalistic and tonally, it's right up their street, right?
Right. Love Vice docs, yeah.
There are things he says in it, you know, like that there are things about this that are so terrifying that you might wish you never found them out. Like, what the hell, Tom? Like,
yeah.
I know the story he told us, but as I said, this was when he was talking to Neil McCasland and a group of people that McCasland gathered for him. And McCasland is like, so any UFO or any recovered debris gets sent to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for study. And McCasland was there at the head of that when the Roswell debris would have shown up, apparently. So there are all these kind of little things that add up.
Is this the guy who has supposedly disappeared? Is this the McCasland guy?
Exactly.
Oh.
Very nice segue, Roz.
Ooh,
Not even intentional.
I haven't read too much into it, so I'm just following the threads. Yes.
I'm going to update you.
Okay.
So, yes, we have Neil McCasland, the guy that was advising Tom DeLonge on his documentaries and all the UFO work kind of bringing out the behind the scenes, what was going on with it. McCasland has gone missing, and he went missing right after Trump said that they were going to be releasing everything and reviewing it.
What?
Initially, there was a rumor that he had dementia and had wandered off. Turns out that was misinformation. His wife posted to Facebook basically saying he doesn't have dementia. We're really worried about him. It's unlike him to go do this, to leave his home without a watch or a phone. They've been checking all of the hiking trails and stuff because he's an experienced outdoorsman. But yeah, we're talking about, we're 7+ days now, and Neil has just disappeared. And so conspiracy theories are swirling,
I guess,
about whether anything untoward is going on with this UFO stuff.
That poor man.
That poor man. And that's the bottom line of this for me. I hope he is found safely. His family must be going through it. That's tragic.
No kidding. Oh my goodness.
Tragic.
What are the theories around why he's gone missing? Like, I haven't read any of it.
Some people just think he's gone missing. Nothing untoward. Others think that maybe he was reaching old age and was getting to a point where he might say something. Especially now, Trump had put a spotlight on the UFO issue, and he was directly connected through the WikiLeaks emails to working with Tom to disclose. Other people think that he's been offed because he did something that he was not meant to do, and we'll never find him. These theories are all out there. His wife tried to downplay a lot of them and said, like I said, she pointed out he doesn't have dementia. He's fit and healthy. So no reason for him to wander off like this. And she also said that he worked with To the Stars to bring some very similitude to what they were doing. Make it look serious because there's a real general involved.
Right.
I take issue with that because he never did anything publicly for To the Stars. They never even shared his name. We didn't know his name until WikiLeaks happened. And then, in Tom's words, the faucet turned off from the team that McCasland had assembled in McCasland. They completely cut him off as soon as it became public they were talking to him. So what we saw with To the Stars, with Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, Hal Puthoff, everything like that, that was plan B, Roz.
What?
Crazy, right?
Yes. Yes, that is crazy. So how do you know this about Tom saying these things? Were you just following him and he was tweeting about this stuff?
Big fan of Blink-182 and Tom DeLonge's music. Been following him since I was a little kid. Tom has been in the subject for ages. When Blink got their first record deal, he bought a computer so he could research UFOs.
Right.
And that when he bought a computer, because they were like thousands back, early 90s, his dad took him seriously as a musician. He thought he was just mucking around and he wanted to get a real job. And as soon as he was like, hey, I bought a computer and I've got all this money, his dad was like, oh, okay, it's a real job then. Right, that's fine. But yeah, this has just been developing over years. And when it comes to McCasland, obviously it's pertinent to discuss, what did he actually say?
Uh-oh.
And so this is what is in the front of every copy of Secret Machines, which is supposedly a fictional story that includes truth that was told to Tom by McCasland and all of his, the panel.
Okay.
And Tom writes, this, like I say, it's in the intro. So Tom writes that the general, he was in a diner, the general came in, sat at our booth with him, and just cleared his throat and said, I'll try and do a gravelly voice here. It was the Cold War, and every single day we lived under the threat of nuclear war. Every single day we believed and really thought in the deepest part of our souls that nuclear war could happen at any given moment. And then he stops and he goes, and somewhere in those years, and he looked me in the eye, he goes, we found a life form. And everything that we did and every decision that we made with that life form was because of the consciousness at that time.
Oh gosh, that sounds foreboding, doesn't it? Everything that we did with that life form. Oy.
Right. Very foreboding.
But
provocative. Again, not being addressed. That's not very similar to you. That's like, what is going on, Roz? What is going on?
Has Tom spoken out about his disappearance at all?
He has not, no. Tom hasn't spoken about Trump or anything like that. But I think we can safely say we're in a new era for UFOs now. Dirty disclosure, be it may. Now it's up to Congress.
Yes.
Pass something like the UAPDA so we can keep this going. And more legislation, more hearings, more news on who could testify coming up in just a little bit.
Wow.
What do you, is Trump gonna do it, Roz, do you think?
I mean, it's so hard. You can't really believe much of what he says, right? It's like he says the one thing and he does a completely other thing. Yeah. So it's like, it's just this constant ping-ponging with him. But I mean, I would love to see it. I hope he does. I hope it is a real thing and that we can be hopeful that new things will be released and some of this will have some light shed on it. I mean, I'm generally a hopeful person, so I'm going to err on the side of, yeah, sure. Yes, it's going to happen.
That's totally fair.
Why? What do you think? You think no?
I think no. I'm cautious about it because of who he is and, trying to distract from Iran and Epstein. And because I know that law was passed in 2023 and he's done nothing new. And I tend to probably agree with Michael Ian Black here. Is Trump the disclosure president? Is he going to guide us?
To me, it's irrelevant. Because even if he did disclose, 70% of the country wouldn't believe him. I wouldn't believe him. Whatever came out of his mouth, I wouldn't believe. So it's an irrelevant question to me. And I guess, there's probably some people who would feel the same about if Biden had done it. I think for disclosure to gain purchase, it's going to have to come from multiple people simultaneously, maybe multiple governments simultaneously. And it's going to have to be backed up with some pretty compelling evidence. And I don't see that ever happening. And I don't care. That's the other thing. I don't care. It's not interesting to me anymore what the government has to say or doesn't have to say, because the things that I'm interested in are not in the purview of governments. They're in the purview of humanity.
Love that clip. Damn, who edited that?
I think that's so true. And it's the same for me. Government disclosure is for everyone else. I've had my experiences. I know there's something else out there. I'm not waiting on Trump for anything but everyone else to catch up and for the world to catch up. Yeah. What interests me in the phenomena is how it changes how we relate to each other, how it changes how we look at ourselves, how it might change humanity if we think about how we walking into a stranger's house. Do we want to be with AK-47s or do we want to be with love, which Tom DeLonge says is like a nuclear bomb to these visitors.
Really? Is that so? Okay,
that's what he says.
I haven't read any of his Secret Machines books.
Well, the first one is available free on Wikileaks.
Oh,
because he was sending it to John Podesta, so you can get the copy and you can read it. If you are about to go to South by Southwest, heads up everyone, Roz is going to be doing a panel on her own there, which is amazing. I am. And she will also be at the Spielberg panel. So look for some updates from that. That's sure to be exciting.
Very exciting. Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm actually getting on a plane almost right after this recording. So yeah, it's the podcast panel at Canada House, South by Southwest.
Amazing.
So, yes, if anybody's in Austin, come by and see me. Come by and say hi.
Please do. Okay, let's jump on to our next news story. Okay. We've been talking about Trump for a while. This one was an article that popped up in Psychology Today, why UAP disclosure challenges mental health ethics. And I thought it was pertinent to put here because we've just been talking about
article.
Disclosure.
Yes.
But basically, the key points here, professionals have often explained UAP sightings through individual psychology rather than external events. Research has not shown broad psychological impairment amongst UAP reporters, i.e. they're not crazy, and clinician responses can amplify distress more than the UAP sighting itself. So we're essentially arguing, we need to take this seriously. This is a thing that's external to us. And if we're going to do any kind of disclosure, we need to properly look after people as that process happens. What do you think, Roz?
Yeah. I mean, wasn't that exactly what, I'm blanking on his name right now. I can see his face in my mind's eye. The psychologist from Harvard, The Believer, the book.
John Mack.
Wasn't that exactly what he was saying, right? It's
basically, yeah.
We need to take these people seriously, right? They're not mentally ill. They've obviously had an experience, right? And we need to dive into what that experience is and really take it seriously, be open-minded, right? He was saying that 30 years ago. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, catch up, everybody.
Do the reading, everyone.
Gosh,
Jesus.
Read
a book.
This is Roz's impatience coming out. That's generally how I feel about the subject most days,
That's fair.
A little bit impatient. Yeah.
A psychologist in South Wales, Dr. Daniel Stubbins, who was writing a few papers on UFO encounters and stuff. And he's been working with witnesses and has found largely the same thing. You need to treat it like PTSD. Something happened to cause this reaction. So let's start talking about whether it's real or not and actually talk about the effect that it's having on us.
100%.
And to do that, we need to do or be a little more like Canada.
Ooh, yeah. Blame Canada. Blame Canada. Right.
So this has come out this week. This is the new Canadian Sky Survey.
That just came out. Dan,
and I'll just give you a rundown.
I was just at the Fort York Armory. I was filming there yesterday with the military. Yes, and the captain who runs that armory was telling me about this. He was like, yes. He was like, yeah, there's going to be a new survey. There's a new thing coming out or whatever. Cool. And I was like, really? You knew more? Obviously, he's on top of it. And look at you. You have it. This is meant to be.
Yeah, right there.
Meant to be.
And we didn't even talk about this, right?
No, we didn't.
Meant to be.
Just universe.
So this is an annual report. Comes out every year by ufology researchers led by Chris Rakowski. He's compiling UFO sightings filed with government agencies, private organizations, and social media across Canada. It's been going since 1989, and it's cataloged over 26,000 reports over the years.
Love it.
It's gathered from groups like Newfolk, Transport Canada, Facebook groups, apps like Enigma, and researchers across Canada kind of share and pool their data, which I think every country should do. Researchers are kicking at each other's heels because one's having more success than the other. Don't work together. Let's compile this. Yep. But here's the stats. In 2025, there were 1,052 reports filed. That's roughly one every 8 hours of someone seeing something unexplained they can't figure out in the sky.
Wow.
3.42% of those were classified as unexplained, which is down from 3.7 in 2024, with Ontario having the most sightings of 307, followed by Quebec, 210, and then BC, which is 131. So go to any of those places if you want to, see UFOs in Canada. August being the busiest month, 160 reports. January was apparently unusually high, but they think that was a spillover from the 2024 drone waves.
Oh.
The most common appearance in the reports are white lights in the night sky. That's about 50% of all cases. And the average sighting duration is about 47 minutes, up sharply from 36 in 2024. So where are the 47-minute videos, right? And the most common shape was just a point source of light, which is hard to figure out, if something's really far away. Average strangeness sighting was a 3.7 out of 10, which is lower than 2024. And 46% of cases had insufficient information to assess. Most of them explained by mundane explanations, but the takeaway here is that UFO sightings in Canada are really stable. They're not surging despite the hype, and most have mundane explanations. But they request in this survey, they want the Canadian government to create a dedicated federal office to do this, to collect and investigate UAP reports. And they're arguing the field is too fragmented to do serious science, which I would agree with.
Definitely. And I mean, a lot of that data makes sense. Like Ontario is the biggest province. It has the most people. So therefore, you have the most sightings.
Right. So it's kind of like population density. Similar to when you see the US maps and it's just mostly near cities.
Yeah, exactly. Quebec is also quite large with a big population. BC, though, is not. So that's really interesting in terms of the spread. And also, I mean, in Ontario, we have the Great Lakes, right? Lake Ontario.
Right.
Where there's a lot of crazy sightings that go on. Yeah. So, I mean, I gotta tell people something over Lake Ontario, actually. Yeah.
These lakes are great, but they're called great because they're huge. You cannot see the other side. They are oceans. When people first sailed on these, they probably thought that they were going back onto the ocean.
Yes. They do look like the ocean. Yeah. When you walk up to the edge. Yeah. I saw a little object. I did get a photo of it. I should dig it up and share it with the crew here because it was just a little. It looked like honestly, it looked like a little, maybe even like a little Tic Tac, like a little white, kind of like like kind of propane tank kind of shaped. And it was way out. It was like so far out that the size of it was very, very small. It was like, smaller than my pinky fingernail, like in my, out in the water. But it was hovering there, and we were driving along on the Gardiner Expressway, which goes around Toronto, and it goes that area is called the Golden Horseshoe. And so there's a highway that runs all along the edge of Lake Ontario, pretty much.
Okay.
So you can see Lake Ontario from the highway for a long, long time. And so we were driving along the edge of Lake Ontario, and I just kept an eye on this thing, and it was just there. It was just hovering there, like the entire time. Didn't move. It was just sitting there in the sky, like as we drove around the lake edge and went the other direction, which was kind of weird. Yeah, because it was like too small to be a cloud. And it was really far out, and just the like complete lack of movement. And it was really
strange.
Weird. Yeah.
They should set up those like Project Galileo sensors on these lakes for sure. I think.
Definitely. That'd be a great idea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're switching from this story now to one that's kind of sad.
Oh no. Oh, Nick Pope.
So this was me and Roswell with Nick Pope. We had an incredible conversation about fajitas. You'd think we were talking about UFOs or David Grush, who came forward that day, but no, fajitas, and I'll remember the conversation forever. We both love them, and Nick was an absolute gentleman. Really kind of, he struck me as shy and nerdy, which is not what you kind of get from him when you see him on like Ancient Aliens and stuff. But Nick had some bad news this week. He writes, a while ago, following some digestive issues, I was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. Unfortunately, it's stage 4 and has metastasized to my liver. While I know that it's kindness and hope that leads people to suggest healers and supposed miracle cures, and to say things like fight it and you can beat it, I'm afraid my diagnosis and my situation leaves no doubt whatsoever. I can't beat it. What an amazing adventure I've had. A 21-year career at the UK Ministry of Defence, where I got involved in subjects ranging from financial policy to counter-terrorism to military policing to UAP. And I saved 6 cows. It's a long story. The things I've done, the places I've been, the people I've met, and the secrets I've been privy to. I wouldn't have swapped it for the world. And then a second career where my previous government UAP role brought me to the attention of the world's media, leading to become a regular commentator on TV news shows and documentaries, as well as consulting and acting as spokesperson on various UFO and alien-themed movies, TVs, and video games. The media called me the real Fox Mulder. He goes on to praise his wife, to say she's the best thing that ever happened to him. He shares stories of them proofreading each other's books and articles. Like that just sounds so lovely. And I really hope they're wringing out all of the joy of every single day that they can, that Nick is still with us. Nick says that he kept working for as long as he could right up until last week. So we're probably not going to see him many things now. He did all of his live events, Ancient Aliens Live, where he moderated. He did like 94 shows, he says. That's crazy. But he says the time has come where he has to step away from his work. He says, a lot of the people have followed my work on UAP. I'm loath to use the word fans because I'm not a celebrity, but I am a public figure, and many people have followed me on my journey as I've sought to keep the UAP subject in the public eye and to frame it as a defense, national security, and safety of flight issue, as well as a fascinating science problem. Some of this work has been public knowledge, but some such work of necessity has been done behind the scenes. I hope I've helped move the needle forward. But most people, of course, know me through my media interviews and live events. To everyone who's followed me on my journey, thank you, and good luck with your own journey. I wish you every success and happiness. It's all been amazing, and I'm grateful for the things I've done, not mournful for the things I won't now get to do. Per aspera ad astra. Nick Pope.
Oh, Nick. Yeah.
I feel that was hard to read.
It's sad. I know I met Nick too, and I interviewed him at the Brantford Cosmic Expo when he was there alongside Stanton, actually. Stanton, that's where I interviewed him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got the same energy from him that you did, Dan. He's just like such a lovely, very giving, excellent on camera. Like every question I would ask him, he would just perfectly answer in that wonderful soundbite kind of way that he does, when you see him on Ancient Aliens. And I just always was another docs, and I was always like, gosh, he's so good on camera. He's really very talented communicator of very complex things, and yeah, when I saw that, I felt like a gut punch, just like you. It's very sad. Hey. Yeah.
I mean, he's going to get all the answers before us. Kudos, Nick. Communicate from the other side and let us know. You'll be missed. Yes. And he absolutely did move the needle. He gave us the Calvin UFO. We wouldn't have even looked for that and got it released if he didn't say that. And it took 30 odd years to find that photo. So credit goes to Nick for beginning that search, and countless others. He spread this bug in really professional ways that others didn't do. And I know before I've said that the media calling him Fox Mulder is not called for, but I grant it. Nick, you are our Fox Mulder. Thank you for everything you've done.
Totally agree. Yeah. Thank you, Nick.
So yeah. If you're watching this, go send Nick a message.
Yeah.
Just say thank you. I love that he was so hopeful. Like thankful, not mourning, as he said at the end there. And it's just that's what makes it really touching for me. He's facing the abyss, wide-eyed, looking at it as it stares back. Respect.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like the consummate professional, right to the end. Hey, just like, yeah, that's a beautiful message that he shared. And, people, like, they don't have to do that. Right? Like they don't. You don't have to share a message like that. If you're ill and you're in the public eye, you can just go out on your own terms. And, so the fact that he shared that, I think, just shows the respect that he had for his audience, right? And for people that he knew were following him, he's still around. But yeah, it's hard to read. That's a hard one to read. We're losing the good ones, Dan.
Yeah. Oh, well. Bless Nick. Okay. Segue to the next one. It feels like a weird segue now.
It does. I know. But Nick would want it this way. Okay? I'm sure if Nick is watching, he'd be like, no, I want the conversation to continue on.
That is true. Okay, so let's just jump to, we have one news story left, and then we'll give you the UFO or UFO. No solution. And then Roz has to fly. Literally, she has to go fly.
Yeah.
So we have one clip here. This is Jeremy Corbell talking about who could potentially testify at the next hearing.
So has Bob Lazar been asked to testify? Yes. Multiple times, not just to me, to you. And so, we would, and there is a world where Bob does testify. He's no problem testifying. He's already said it all. He's done lie detector tests. He'd testify. But, he also has a little bit of a distrust for the process, and we've seen that in action while we're there by not Congress, but a lot of the staffers and, I don't know, CIA, people that were spooks, like Rep. Burchett said that he was approached not to say my name and then said it anyway into the microphone. He's a gangster. And he said that on Andy's podcast, that UFO podcast. He explained what happened. So you and I have seen the tomfuckery, and I can totally understand why Bob wouldn't want to raise his head above that parapet again. I don't like going to DC. It's spooky.
So we can see Lazar testifying. What do you think? I think he's right to be cautious. I don't really know why Jeremy's still trusting Luna and everyone like that. Their unprofessionalism has burnt his sources before, refused to put Matthew Brown up, things like that. I get it. He's just allowing the tool to kind of be used, and that's his access to Congress. So it is. But would you want Bob Lazar up there?
Yeah. I mean, okay. Full disclosure, I believe Bob Lazar. Okay. Again, I'm a hopeful human. Dan, I think you might be muted over there. Just saying. And so I would love to see him on the camera giving his, kind of take on what he has seen and dealt with. And I think it would add that little bit of credibility for him too, especially if he's testifying under oath. I think that's a really powerful tool in your own story, right? But it needs to be something that Bob Lazar wants to do for his own story and for his own credibility and for I think something like that. I mean, that's documented history. That's going down in the books, right? As someone who came forward and gave their testimony during this time period for the UFO subject, which I think it's awesome. Yeah. What do you think?
I was kind of against him testifying in the past because, he has this past that's kind of sordid. He was arrested for running a brothel and putting cameras in there and stuff. The dude's a perv,
I couldn't believe that when I found out. I was like, what? Like, what?
Right. A lot of people think that gives, whoever employed him to do the UFO work plausible deniability.
Oh.
I don't know. But I do think it needs to be cleared up. And the best way to do that is to, bleach is the best disinfectant. So let's get Bob in the stand. Let's get him to tell his story. Let's have the people with the right access check the records and once and for all say whether Bob is a fibber or not.
I love it.
Because there's an in-between as well that his mind was messed with, a la MK Ultra, right? And the stuff that he's telling us is that kind of stuff. And when he was on Rogan and he was talking about his headaches, I was like, wait, like, okay, he could be, faking to just be like, oh, honey, no cushion tonight. I have a headache.
Oh, my head. Yeah.
But also, it could have been because he was trying to access part of his brain that's been messed with, memories that have been given screen memories, so that, maybe he didn't actually remember what he's been working on. But even if that's the case, if the US is messing with people's minds still, that's a conversation we need to have.
Yeah, totally.
I think. But I really hope that Stratton, James Clapper, and Lakatsky are next to him because they are three other people. Clapper apparently ran this program, according to David Grush. Stratton ran the UAP task force. He's been going for years. And Lakatsky started this whole thing with OSAP and Skinwalker when he was running the DIA and he gave them $22 million to investigate this stuff. So those four, that would be a dream panel for me.
That would be a dream panel. That'd be stellar. Yes. You'd have all of the, the science, you'd have the people that were involved with the topics, and then you would have the dirty disclosure, Bob Lazar.
Dirty disclosure. I love it. That's a thing. I'm going to make that a thing. Dirty disclosure.
A little sordid, a little dirty,
Whenever we talk about Bob Lazar, and this is Elena's fault, but basically every time someone says Bob Lazar, in my head, it plays, that song, How Bizarre? But Bob Lazar. And I'm like, if someone needs to redo this song, but with Bob Lazar references, that would be so good.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
Genius. Yes.
Okay, so
okay,
I'm going to play UFO or UFno again, just for one last thing, and then we can.
Okay.
We can. Lucian.
Okay. There it is again. It's that floating, creepy eyeball in the sky.
And it's kind of like a target camera as well, isn't it? So like looks similar to like gimbal where it has like the, what do they call it? The reticule? The targeting thing.
Right.
Around the object.
Crosshairs.
So we can see it. Crosshairs. That's it. Reticule.
Yes.
What am I talking about?
So, yeah.
Any coffee bras.
Stat. That is a really creepy object. I mean, there was a sighting over Toronto, Pierce, I think it was Billy Bishop Airport, plane was coming in, and the pilot described seeing a donut-shaped object, and they had to actually duck underneath it. It was a Porter plane. This is like a case. And it kind of reminds me of that. Like when I read his testimony or what he said he saw, the pilot, it's kind of reminds me of that, like a weird donut-shaped object, but is that thing in the center a hole? I don't think so, right? It looks like it's more of an eyeball. Yeah.
It almost looks like it could be out of focus though, right? And we're kind of getting like a bokeh effect because you'll see stars do that when you are out of focus, zoomed in on a star. It'll give you that shape. But that's not guaranteed because these are professionals with equipment that do this every day. Yeah. And this is where I tell you, Roz, that these professionals, they don't just go up and film in a helicopter. This is a video from the oh, of course, yeah, I've lost it. The NPAS in South Wales. That is the National Police Air Service.
Oh, it's police helicopter.
So this is a video from the UK of a mysterious object that a police helicopter took whilst on nightly patrol. They followed it for 8 minutes across the channel, and they had to turn back because they almost ran out of fuel. They immediately posted it, and it was in all of the newspapers. So let me just show you here. It was around. So this is BBC coverage of it.
Okay.
They say Cardiff Airport was like 15 minutes from me. And say Natalie's just over it. So it went across the channel. A helicopter was hovering at midnight above the base, waiting to land, and the crew saw something. And so they chased it. They followed it. They filmed it, which is awesome. I love that. I love that we got that video.
No kidding.
And we also had a few years later, someone actually got that full 8-minute video released via FOIA in the UK through the West Yorkshire Police. We have the flight logs. We have interviews with the pilots done by Sufan, which is the Swansea UFO network in South Wales.
Okay.
So that's kind of the trajectory. This is where I lived, right here.
It was checking
so I'm
you
kind
out.
Of sad that
Dan,
I didn't see
you
it.
weren't there. Oh, were you living there at the time when this happened?
I was, yeah, right there.
And you,
right there
okay? Well, it was looking for you. It was, it was checking out your.
They were like, dude, we've got some stuff for you.
Stop calling us, Dan. Yeah.
So we have FOIA releases. We have video.
Wow.
We have everything, and that, Roz, is a UFO.
UFO? Can I just say that's the first time I've been right?
And no one has been able to figure this out. And that is an active hotspot area. There have been reports of objects going into cliff faces. There was a school landing where these beings got out in Broadhaven, which is right by there. No. I had my UFO sighting, the Leaf on the Wind one from the show, like you can listen to it in the early episode. That was there.
That's wild. That's wild.
Crazy,
it looks, right? Just the way it's moving and the weird fuzzy edges on it and the kind of spinning and the weird, you're like, that's not something that's not something you see every day, right? Yes.
That for me is the British gimbal. You know, we always say like the British Roswell was Rendlesham. That's the British gimbal. And it blows my mind that isn't talked about much. But then again, what can you do with it? It's 8 minutes of footage and you can't zoom in and see little people inside going, hey, we're human or something, you know? So it's just one of those things. It was moving against the wind as well. So it's not a lantern, which a lot of people say it was. Not a lantern, just an object. They couldn't see it with their eyes. It would only show up on infrared, and they followed it for 8 minutes and filmed and then had to turn back. Brave souls.
Definitely.
Brave souls.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm glad they're playing. I'm glad the helicopter didn't have any technical difficulties, no interference with the, because that would be scary. Hey,
absolutely.
I was going to say, Dan, should you tell the audience before we sign off about Contact in the Desert? Am I blowing your cover?
No, you are not. That literally is next on my list. Again, perfect segue, Roz.
Hey, look at us.
I'm getting good at making these scripts because you're asking the questions where I want you to ask them. That's awesome. So Roz and I are going to be at Contact in the Desert for the first time ever this year. It is an awesome event. I think it's the end of June or beginning of June, end of May. One of the two. End of May. Okay. So we'll be there with press passes, interviewing people. Between now and then, we've also got some incredible interviews with people who are going to be speaking at Contact in the Desert. They'll be starting real soon. Before that, you're going to be getting a focused episode next week on Chains of the Sea. If you don't know what that is, it's a book that Lou Elizondo recommended to someone and the UFO community thinks has a little bit of truth in it. So we're just going to talk about it. Maybe I'll read to you. You can get some cocoa and put your feet up and be read to
Love that.
Be read by me. But that should be an interesting one, nice and focused. But yeah, if you see us at Contact in the Desert, please come say hi. We would love to meet you and hear what you think it means to be human. Thank you so much for joining us this week. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review on Spotify or on your chosen platform. Seriously, it really helps. The algorithm loves it. If you could like, share, or subscribe, that would also be very much appreciated because it helps us find our tribe. If you'd like to support the show, and get access to a 1-hour live chat each month and early ad-free access to episodes, you can find us over at Patreon. And over at Patreon, after this Chains of the Sea episode, is where I'm going to carry on reading the chapters to you. So you'll get a full audiobook of Chains of the Sea over at Patreon, as well as our Phenomenology series is over there, and a few other little clips. You know, you can message and give Roz and I questions too. Failing that, check our website, www.tobehumanshow.com. And always feel free to reach out via the contact page or email at hello@tobehumanshow.com. You can find us on Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, or X at tobehumanshow. But mainly, as always, remember to be curious, because the universe is bigger than we know. Thank you for watching.
What It Means to Be Human is a Double Barrel production. This week's episode was produced by Roz Mugford and Dan Zetterstrom. Sound post-production by Parker Mosley with technical support from Dale Mugford. Our theme music is by Thunderbird.